Hi everyone, my name is Christine Gordon. I'm a comprehensive sexuality educator with sexual health education and empowerment in Washington, D.C. And I'm making this video today to answer some questions and concerns that come up sometimes from parents and other educators about how to answer values questions when they come up in my programs, or how do I personally answer them when they come up in my programs. And this is important because I think the underlying concern here is that I'm going to come in with an agenda that reflects my own values and try to place those on the students, or in some ways promote my values over other people's values. And so here's my way of trying to reassure you that that's not what happens, and that I, as well as I think most comprehensive sexuality educators, um, work very hard to ensure that we talk about how there is a wide range of values, especially in this country, around sex and sexuality, and that it's important to respect and honor all of those. And so here's how I do that in my programs. First, just from the very top, I always start all of my programs with a group contract or set of ground rules, and at the top of that is respect. And we spend quite a bit of time talking about what that means in terms of these programs. And the goal here is to ensure that all the students understand that there will be no making fun of other people, no putting people down, honoring everybody's personal beliefs and value systems, and that it's fine, it's a safe space for them to share those if they choose to, using I statements. I think, I feel, I believe. And some of the programs often encompass issues around values and trying to help students to clarify their values around sex and sexuality without, again, promoting one over the other, just an attempt to have them think through it a little bit. So let's talk about some of the specific values questions that come up sometimes. The first one might be, at what age is it okay to start having sex? Another one that comes up is it okay to masturbate? And so there is actually a protocol that I would follow when these kinds of questions come up. And the first thing that I would do is affirm the question and say, I'm so glad that you asked that question. I think a lot of people worry about that and wonder about that. And so I'm glad that you brought it up and we can talk about it here. The second step is to identify it as a values question and say, this is a values question. You're not asking me about medical fact here. You are asking me about the morals and ethics of this behavior. And because we've already talked about how there is a wide range of values in our society around sex and sexuality, you know that this is one of those instances where some people believe that having sex is fine from whenever you feel like you're ready, and other people believe that it's not okay until and unless you are married. And so, again, none of those are better than the other. There is no right or wrong here. It's just that it's going to be a personal decision based on your personal values. The next step is to identify if there is any factual information that I can answer in the question. So for the example of when it's okay to have sex, I might say there are age of consent laws in every state, and they vary from state to state. And when you're under that age, it is not legal for you to have sex. And so you should find out about those laws in your state where you live. The other thing to consider is that what you're asking me is probably not just about the legality. That's one piece of it. But that, again, this is related to personal beliefs and personal values more than just a legal question. So how do you figure out those kinds of values? And the next thing we would talk about is how to do that. And what I recommend is talking to a trusted adult, a parent first and foremost, also a religious leader, of an adult family friend or aunt, uncle, grandparent, really anybody that is an adult that the student feels like they can talk to in confidence, trust them, and talk to them about how they came to their values, what they believe, how they decided that, what's the logic behind it, so that the student can begin to develop their own set of personal values that they feel comfortable with and that they have thought a lot about. In the case of a question about masturbation, the factual information would be it's not going to harm you physically. There are a lot of myths out there that you'll grow hair on your palms or you'll go blind. Those are not true. There is no physical harm that will come to you from masturbation. But again, this is a values question, and so to figure out whether you fall into the camp of it's always fine and perfectly healthy, or I don't think it should be done, you need to think about it and talk to a trusted adult to help you as you make your decisions about your personal beliefs. So that's how I would handle values questions in my programs, and hopefully that has put your minds at ease. And if you have any further questions, feel free to drop me a line through my website.